the undocumented population in this country has stopped growing. It used to be up over 12 million. The best estimate is it's now about 11.3 million. It has stopped growing and it is getting older. More than half of that population has been here over 10 years. And we have to reckon with that population. They're not going away. No administration is going to deport them because we don't have the resources.
Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson at the Aspen Institute claiming what he terms as the undocumented population in the U.S. has stopped growing. That's still a matter of dispute. One thing's for sure, it could change following a federal judge's ruling late last week. U.S. District Court Judge Dolly Gee ordered the release of nearly 2,000 illegal women and children. The judge says their living conditions were deplorable and they're being unlawfully detained. To talk about this, we welcome via telephone Mark Everson, a 2016 Republican presidential candidate. Also joining us, Jessica Vaughan. She Skypes in. She is the director of policy at the Center for Immigration Studies. She joins us from Franklin, Massachusetts. Jessica, the judge claims that these women and children are being unlawfully detained. Is her ruling a huge blow to the president's immigration policy, or will this administration go through the motions and not really dispute what the judge does?
Well, it's a blow to the country and to all the communities that are going to be forced to absorb these newly arrived illegal aliens who've been coming over by the tens of thousands from Central America because the administration has let most of them stay. It's another chapter in what has been a complete disaster and failure of the Obama administration to handle this self-inflicted crisis at the border. They could have deported these people within a week of their arrival if they had followed the law, if they had wanted to. But the fact is, they at first thought for years that nobody would notice that they were releasing these people. And then last summer, when it became clear how many were coming and what a crisis it was, they pretended to be enforcing the law by detaining a tiny fraction of the tens of thousands who arrived here. Only about 1,700, at most 2,000 out of 50-some thousand who arrived. The administration's goal all along has been to just release these people into our communities. They're getting their wish now with the help of a Ninth Circuit judge.
All right, Jessica, we see what's going on. In other words, it seems the fix is in. But let me ask Mark Everson on the phone from Mississippi. You're a candidate for president. If we had President Everson, what would you be doing in the wake of this judge's ruling?
Well, what we have to do is we have to get the comprehensive immigration reform, JD, and unfortunately what we've had is a poisoning of the well here with the president overreaching, using his authority, more than his authority, on the, as you and I have talked about before, this deferral of enforcement proceedings for 4 or 5 million illegals. And also, frankly, as Jessica's getting at, they've turned around and they've said we're not going to basically go into the business, any longer be into the business of detaining and deporting just people who are illegally crossing, as opposed to they're going to only worry about criminal aliens. So they've taken a very one-sided view of this. On the other hand, I would say Mr. Trump has poisoned the well equally, because he has accused all Mexicans, or a substantial majority of Mexicans, of being criminals and rapists, and that's wrong. So what we've done in this ruling is really affects a very small number of people, as I read it. We are stuck in this place where we desperately need to deal with this issue, get border controls, and move forward with a solution. But now we've got an extreme left and extreme right sort of point of view here that's not getting us anywhere.
Jessica, we hear Mark, and I appreciate the fact he brings a different perspective to this, but you know, just the whole notion of somehow modifying the law to accommodate those who have come here illegally, is there anything that can be done to not go whole hog, if you will, with this judge's ruling that turns any type of enforcement on its ear, it would seem? 30 seconds to you, Jessica.
Well, I think the answer is they need to not let this be an invitation that anybody can come here illegally and use a child as a human deportation shield. They need to start returning people as soon as they are apprehended at the border, and send the signal that this party is over, and then we'll have to deal with the consequences of what happened last year. But, you know, the best thing to do would be to start enforcing the law now and start sending people home now.
All right, so let me get the last question to Mark. Mark, 30 seconds. You talk about comprehensive reform. But in your administration, would there be a place for deportation? 30 seconds.
Oh, absolutely, JD, of course. That's if people are coming over illegally, you should deport them. The exception is asylum, and that's the hardest piece of all this, determining who has a well-founded fear of persecution. That we honor through asylum, and that's a different issue, but it's tough to enforce.
Yeah, and the other problem is this administration is running amok with political asylum being another tool for bringing in folks. Mark Everson and Jessica Vaughan, we thank you for your time. Now, you heard what they had to say. I'd like to hear from you. You can email me, Facebook me, tweet me, or use our website, newsmaxtv.com/comments. We'll be right back.